You don't like what I'm talking because it's making you uncomfortable because I'm putting the spotlight back on you. I'm not calling you toxic. I'm not calling you abusive. I'm not putting this back on you in a negative light. I'm saying, hey, I want you to focus on you, because if you don't, the life that you've been living is going to just propel you and keep you going in the future in the same dead-end rut that you've been in, serving the narcissist, being stuck mentally and emotionally, not sure how to heal, because of the simple fact that when you keep searching out all of this knowledge about the toxic guy in your life, but you don't do shit about you, nothing's going to change. You can't heal by focusing on the narcissist. You have to be able to heal by focusing on you. This is one of the hardest things that people will run into, is focusing on themselves, focusing on who they actually are. And talking with and working with so many different people, we run into this scenario that people focus so much on the narcissist, and understandably so. This has been your abuser. This has been the person that has completely wrecked and destroyed your life. The hard part is when you focus so much on something that you don't want, you don't actually get what you want. If you focus so much on what you don't want, you don't actually get what you want. It's interesting because I can sit down with a client and I can talk to them in a matter of 30 minutes, figure out a lot of things that they do not want. You probably already have a list of ideas of what you don't want in your next relationship, what you don't want in your current relationship, the things that you hate, the things that you don't like. But if I had to sit down and ask you, what do you actually want? How long would it take you to come up with these ideas, with these thoughts, with these concepts of what you actually want for you? The reason why people struggle with this is because you haven't been allowed. You haven't had the permission. You haven't had the opportunity to actually showcase and actually think through, what is it that I actually want? Am I allowed to actually want something? Instead, you've been told for such a long period of time that you're not. You're not allowed to heal. You're not allowed to focus on you. You're not allowed to want. You're not allowed to have needs. You're not allowed to have expectations. You're not allowed to have wants. You simply have to be and serve and submit to the toxic guy in your life. And so you get to a place where you feel like you can't focus on you. Many of you have already sacrificed the majority of your life to be with a toxic guy. Whether that's 5 years, 20 years, 15 years, 35 years, whatever it might be, you've sacrificed so much time. Now, inside of this, you normally have pieces of you that start to disintegrate, that start to fade away. You have pieces that he used to think were great and they used to compliment you about that he now degrades, he now belittles, he now puts you down. And you start to take the focus off of you because you are an inconvenience. You are a liability. You are a piece that he is not willing to engage in. So you start to focus on him instead of focusing on you. Typically, one of the first places that it starts to fall apart is in your health. Physically, where your body starts to hold and have stress in it and anxiety that starts to cause different diseases, autoimmune disease, gut health, hair loss, all different types of pieces that wreck your body. And as a result, you start to lose your drive, your motivation, your energy, and you don't even care about your body. This means you stop caring about what you're actually eating. You stop caring about working out. You stop caring about exercising. You stop caring about stuff that would help put you in a place of confidence and certainty and power. But instead, you focus all your attention on him. He doesn't give you the time or space to work out. He doesn't give you the time or space to eat the things you need to eat. All different types of things. But typically, your physical body is one of the first things that's going to go. Then inside of there, you're going to get attacked emotionally. Because from there, you've got the outward piece, your meat suit that you live in, that now is looking back in the mirror and you're getting frustrated at who you are. Because you know who you used to be, you know how you used to show up, you know the confidence that you used to have, you no longer have it. So now you look at yourself in the mirror and you start doing the abuse on yourself. You start carrying out the narcissistic abusive ideas and thoughts on yourself because you already know what he's going to say. You already know how he's going to feel. You already know what's going to happen when you step out of the room and he looks at you and he's like, yeah, you don't look as good as what you used to. Like I told you, I was going to cheat on you if you got big. If you start looking this way, this was going to happen. I'm no longer attracted to you. These and many more worse things have been said inside of a toxic relationship. And then you start having the battle of your mind. Your confidence disappears. You have no motivation to do the things that you want to do, to actually invest time and energy into you because you are already beating yourself up. You start to do the narcissist job for him. In and out of the relationship. You could be out and you could still be beating yourself up mentally, knowing, well, this is what he'd say. Well, this is what he'd do. Well, this is why I'm not allowed to do this because he said, who cares? Once you understand that you have lost enough, the fact of the matter that you're watching this video right here, right now, means that you've already sacrificed way more than enough. People don't watch my video just because they had a good relationship. They watch my videos because they've been in a shit relationship and their life has fallen apart and they're confused and they're lost and they're alone and they don't know how to actually heal. They don't know how to actually grow. They don't know how to actually develop. And the hard part is they will get so stuck in the midst of drinking from the fire hydrant of narcissism on social media. They will only focus on learning about the narcissist, understanding the narcissist, figuring out the narcissist, all the different things, narcissists. And guess what you don't get? You don't get your healing. I say this because I have people that have followed and watched my content for years. And the fact of the matter is they haven't grown. They haven't changed. Now, part of this could just be, hey, my content has grown and evolved. And there's different pieces, there's different things that I talk about. And I get that. But at the end of the day, I need you to understand, if you're watching my content about narcissism and narcissistic abuse long term, we got a problem. Maybe this needs to be our come to Jesus moment here right now. Saying, hey, if you continue to watch narcissistic abuse stuff for a long period of time, we have a problem, because that means you're not actually taking the knowledge and applying it in a way that changes your life. People go to therapy all the time. They go to counseling all the time. There's nothing wrong about that. There's nothing bad about that. I go to therapy. I go to counseling as well. It's great. But sometimes you get to a place where it just becomes a whine fest, a complaining, a time to vent and get things out, because you don't know how to process your emotions. You don't know how to actually work through the stuff you're going through. And instead, you're just becoming more codependent on another person. Like, I'm pausing because I need some of you to actually hear this. This isn't scripted. This isn't planned. This isn't even what we're supposed to talk about today. Like, you just need to hear, like, you have to start focusing on you. The hard part is you've gotten so obsessed with serving him and being a slave to him and being trapped in this relationship that now that you're even getting out, you don't know how to operate. You don't even know what kind of pizza you like, because everything is about him. You don't even know your likes, your desires, your hobbies. And I ask you, hey, what do you like to do? And you're like, don't know what I'm allowed to do. Exactly, because you've been conditioned. We have to start focusing on you. I get it. You want to understand the narcissist. I get it. You want to understand the brain. I get it that you want to understand all the nuances. But guess what? No matter how much you understand, it won't provide your healing. You're like, well, how do you know this? Because I've talked to over 3,000 people and I've seen it. People that come in and they just want answers to figure out what he's thinking so they can fix him, so they can modify what they're doing, so they can try to stay in the relationship longer, and it never works out, because simply the fact is you're no longer focusing on you. And who wants to be with someone that is no longer even focused on growing themselves? Half of you have already stopped watching this video. You don't like what I'm saying. You don't like what I'm talking because it's making you uncomfortable, because I'm putting the spotlight back on you. I'm not calling you toxic. I'm not calling you abusive. I'm not putting this back on you in a negative light. I'm saying, hey, I want you to focus on you, because if you don't, the life that you've been living is going to just propel you and keep you going in the future in the same dead-end rut that you've been in, serving the narcissist, being stuck mentally and emotionally, not sure how to heal, because of the simple fact that when you keep searching out all of this knowledge about the toxic guy in your life, but you don't do shit about you, nothing's going to change. Are you getting this? I'm not upset at you. I'm not mad at you. It's not what you need. But you do need someone that's going to wake you up and tell you it's time to focus on you. This can be in small, tiny steps. This literally could be you getting up and you going for a walk. You, just you. This could be you sitting silently for 5 minutes, just meditating, calming your mind. This could be you learning and taking something and putting something healthy in your body every single day, just to change up what you've been doing, change up how you've been showing up for you. And as you start to do these things, you start to build a level of confidence that cannot be taken away by the narcissist, simply because you are setting up proof for you. Like, the way you build up confidence is through repetition. So if you actually show up and you have a repetitive habit that you do over and over and over, you become more confident at it. I use illustration all the time of like tying your shoe. You tie your shoe once, not super confident because you're like, I don't even know how to do this. Which loop, which bunny ear, like, how do you do this? After you've done it for several years, you have a lot of confidence. You don't even think about it anymore because you've had the repetition. The problem is you've gotten out of this toxic relationship, or you're stuck in the toxic relationship and you're not sure how to build up your confidence, but simply because the matter of fact is you're not doing anything repetitively. You're not actually working out. You're not actually meditating. You're not actually spending time with God. You're not actually doing the things that are required for you to actually heal. Instead, you're binge watching on narcissism. You're focusing on all the things about the toxic guy, and you're no longer focused on you. So you know everything in your life that you don't want, but you have no clue what you want. And you have no clue how to actually build a plan to become the person that you want to be. Instead of what I do is helping liberate women from toxic relationships, going from a victim to a survivor to a thriver. Inside of this process is scripted out. Inside of this process, it's step by step. Inside this process, it's level by level. Because I know the dead end road that you can go down inside of therapy, inside of coaching, inside of counseling, inside of other people that have no clue, one, what they're talking about, and then two, have no plan for you. They have no progression for you to actually move forward to become who you're called to be. And instead, you get stuck in these sessions where you just talk and complain and learn, but don't do anything to actually apply in a practical way. Are you getting what I'm saying here? Like, I hope you're understanding just my heart from this. You have to focus on you. We have to do so in small baby steps. You didn't grow up and just start walking instantly. You had to actually crawl. You had to scoot on your butt for a period of time. You had to crawl. You had to roll. You had to fall over. You had to do all these things to get up to where you are. But then we get out of a toxic relationship and you're like, I should be running. No, you should actually be learning how to crawl. Like the small baby steps that are helping you actually become who you're called to be. But right now, you haven't been allowed to focus on it. You haven't been focused on it, and you've been left stuck. Do you see this? If you just watch to consume, then this is pointless. If you've been consuming my content, but there's no change that's happening in your life, then we need to talk about your application. We need to talk about your dedication. We need to talk about your willingness to step forward to focus on you, or we need to talk about the victim mindset that leaves you stuck telling yourself that you can't, telling yourself that you won't, and not actually helping you rise. If you want to learn how I do this, go to rawmotivationscoaching.com. You can hear multiple testimonials of women that have been freed mentally and emotionally and physically from a toxic relationship, how they've healed, how they've grown, how they've developed and maximized their life inside of relationships, spirituality, business, and how they show up even physically. If this is you and you want to be able to understand this and learn, then go to rawmotivationscoaching.com today.